National Honor Society advisors, Holly Johnson and Peter Prue, and Dr. Lewis and I, we would like to welcome each of you to AMSA's 2018 National Honor Society induction ceremony. We extend a special welcome to current members of the National Honor Society, the inductees on this side of the room, families, faculty, staff, and members of the Board of Trustees for joining us tonight. Last year was the first time that I attended the National Honor Society induction ceremony. After that experience, I truly realized what a special evening this was, and I feel very honored to be asked to give the welcome address tonight. Tonight is our first opportunity to hear from and then say our first round of goodbyes to our wonderful seniors. I've mentioned to the students before that this group of seniors were all in 8th grade when I joined AMSA in 2015. I have had the distinct pleasure of getting to know many of them on a very personal level when I was their school counselor, and many more since then. The special relationship that I have had with many of them will live in my heart for a very long time. I'm very excited to share this special time of year with them and celebrate this exciting milestone in their life. But tonight is also an evening of new beginnings. For our new inductees, how exciting this must be for you. I know that many of you have looked forward to this evening for many years. You've worked hard, you've applied yourselves to your studies, and maybe most importantly, you've served others. Congratulations, you've made it, and we're very proud of you. Being a member of the National Honor Society is a great honor, and it will become a cornerstone of your activities at AMSA. Well, this is a welcome and not a keynote address, but I have one thought that I want to leave with you. When you enter my office, there's a small wooden plaque that's right on the table, and I'd like to share it with you because I think it's something worth considering, and it's something that guides my work at AMSA. For tonight, this is the advice that I'd like to share with you, especially my beloved seniors. Please listen to each phrase and ponder it for just a moment. Think deeply. Speak gently. Love much. Laugh a lot. Work hard. Give of yourself freely. And always be kind. Congratulations to all of our students. The future is yours.
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'd now like to introduce Amy Rose, who will discuss the principles of NHS.
Hello. The 4 pillars of NHS are the foundation of the organization. They represent what we as students strive to achieve and embody in our community. The pillars of scholarship, service, character, and leadership each hold their own importance in terms of what our dedication to NHS and our community means. They are not only what NHS wants for us in the organization, but also what we want for ourselves in our academic and personal lives. We embrace scholarship because we are committed to learning and bettering our education. We embrace service because we want to give back to those in need and our community. We embrace character because it distinguishes who we are and our choices. Finally, we embrace leadership because it cultivates initiative and betters us as people. Through each pillar, we can learn more about our others and ourselves. They allow us to make a difference, and this is exactly what NHS is about. I would now like to invite Catherine Hansen, NHS Secretary, to speak about scholarship.
Scholarship. At first glance, it is something that is easy to explain with numbers. Oh, she has a high GPA. She must be smart. Oh, he did well in the SATs. He clearly must be better than me. But what separates our NHS members from the high test scores and good grades is their true passion for knowledge. Our members do not simply study for the good grades, but but rather for the satisfaction of improving themselves. Our members participate in countless scholarly activities outside of NHS, including tutoring other students, participating in other academic clubs. To the new inductees, I just want you to know that your hard work matters. Every late night that you spent doing homework and every hour you've spent on improving your knowledge has paid off. Keep it up. The hard work you've done this far is not for nothing. You are here now, and you should continue working to your full potential. To my fellow seniors, you have all chosen a future path that you are excited for. You have recently made one of the hardest decisions in your life thus far, and remember to never regret it. College is a time when your inner scholar will truly be able to shine, and you will be able to pursue what interests you most. A year ago, as I began the college process, I never could have guessed where I'd choose to go. What I've learned from this crazy and overwhelming experience is that the name of your school isn't the only thing that matters. What matters is finding an environment that is going to encourage you to thrive. Sometimes this involves going against the norm and trying new things. Take every opportunity as it comes. Scholarship isn't about having a positive outcome to every experiment you try. Scholarship is about looking at that failed experiment and figuring out how to make it better next time. As each and every one of you continue your education, remember that learning is never finished. I leave you here today with a quote from William Pollard, which reads, "Learning and innovation go hand in hand. The arrogance of success is to think that what you did yesterday will be sufficient for tomorrow." I would now like to introduce our NHS Vice President, Lydia Begag, to speak about service.
There have always been two types of people: those who choose to engage in service work for their community's benefit, and those who do it for their own benefit. Volunteers and people who just volunteer. Even though to an extent every single human being is a mixture of these impulses, the true value of service is understood by those who make the word volunteer a part of their identity. I'm fond of NHS's emphasis on service work, but even more impressed that members make it their responsibility to promote it. In light of common stigmas surrounding high school students, such as the idea that we are lazy or only care about improving our resumes, it is important to combat these mindsets with contradictory actions. Luckily for AMSA's NHS, this doesn't seem to be an issue. Our members effectively contributed with over 1,400 hours of service just over the first semester of this school year. Here are a few things our members have done to help better their community. Being a teacher's assistant at a language school teaching Chinese to children, helping out at an archery tournament, feeding and grooming animals at a veterinary clinic, and organizing a coat drive for those in need. As you can see, it doesn't take much to do some good. Whether it be spending time at your town soup kitchen during the holidays or playing fetch with some sheltered dogs, anything you can do for those around you matters. To the inductees of tonight, you are a unique and diverse group of people who I have no doubt in my mind will do great things at your time at NHS. Make service work something that you do for the sake of giving back to the community that has already given you so much, not for the sake of recognition and compensation. By doing this, you'll find that in your differences, you will all share one thing in common: an aim to unite the community through being a volunteer. I would now like to welcome to the stage my friend, the NHS Chapter President, Siobhan Gannon, to speak about leadership.
Thank you, Lydia. Leadership is an important pillar that every member of NHS upholds in the service they provide to their community. As a part of the National Honor Society, we take the initiative to guide others in their pursuit of knowledge, integrity, and well-being. We do not deem tasks too difficult, but rather embrace the challenge that they provide. We act not for our own benefit, but for those around us. Through our personal journeys, we have all grown into more than just leaders, but inspirations to our communities. As president, I have been honored to watch AMSA NHS blossom into an incredible society. More service projects and fundraising initiatives have been performed over the last few months than in many previous years. The other officers and myself are always excited when members approach us with new ideas they want to spearhead. I urge new inductees and current members to follow our example into next year. By taking the initiative to start a project, any member can become a leader. As stated by Aristotle, quality is not an act, but a habit. NHS leaders truly understand this and strive to make change in society. Leadership is encompassed by this group of incredible students who strive to distinguish themselves through their altruism and honor. You have all earned the right to be a leader through outstanding dedication to those around you. I encourage each student here, whether you are just beginning your journey with NHS or leaving for college, to continue to grow, lead, and inspire. To finish, I have an excerpt of a poem from an anonymous writer that I believe encompasses the core values of our society. A true leader is a selfless soul, one who thinks not for himself, but for the others, for the many, for the haves and for the whole of humanity. Regardless of age or importance to man, it's not in the memory of their great names and with which we stand, but in the willingness to mold oneself into a servant, to humbly hold the troubled hand, and to become the kind of person who doesn't abuse the right to demand, but instead looks to enable others so that they might just begin and begin again. Thank you, and here's to the next generation of inspiration through NHS. I would now like to introduce our treasurer, Teresa Shea, who will be discussing character.
Character. Character is the hardest of the pillars to measure. There is no precise quantity to count or any specific definition to follow. For many, character is how we act when no one is watching, the actions we take when our intentions are pure. It's picking up $100 from the street and reporting it to the police. It's having the patience to help your grandmother learn how to use iMessage, even when she keeps deleting her contacts. If you look closely, character is within every single one of the pillars. For scholarship, character is at the center of academic integrity. It's the guiding force that keeps students honest about their work and the drive that pushes people to work diligently. Concerning service, strong character compels members to volunteer, not simply to fulfill a requirement for hours, but to sincerely contribute to growing their community. For leaders, character is the essence of exceptional leadership. It is at the core of the pursuit of truth and justice, and it motivates others to do the same. Leaders who shine with extraordinary character inspire people to follow suit. Consider our administration this year. For example, Ms. Lindsay and Dr. Lewis have guided us through great change within AMSA and have shown us all how powerful our tight-knit community can be, inspiring everyone with their grace and competence. Abraham Lincoln once said, "Character is like a tree, and reputation like a shadow. The shadow is what we think of, the tree is the real thing." So my advice to the new NHS inductees is that when it comes to experience, don't just think about the recognition or rewards. The real value of your efforts is developing the strength to pursue honesty and charity. Follow your passions, because by dedicating your time to what you love, your character will shine through. Siobhan will now lead the new inductees in the recitation of the NHS Pledge.
I, being aware of the honor that is being bestowed upon me by my selection for membership in the National Honor Society, do hereby pledge loyalty to this organization. It shall be my earnest purpose to give unsparingly of my time and energy toward the promotion of all school activities. I will strive to be at all times a model student and will never knowingly bring reproach upon my school. I pledge myself to uphold the high purpose of this society for which I have been selected, striving in every way by word and deed to make its ideals the ideals of my school and of my life. Kate Longanova and Spandana Shankara will now read the names of those being inducted into AMSA's chapter of the National Honor Society.
Daniel Abijev, he could not be here today in this evening. Suhani Amin.
Babinski.
Nadia Budakara.
Danush Chaladurai.
Colin Craig.
Olivia Deckers.
Alessandro DeMeo.
Emily Downing.
Paul Fillion.
Sarah Fisher.
Marissa Gardner.
Rahul Harvey.
Jesse Hogan.
Jules Hogan.
Juliana Huey.
Rihanna Jackson.
Rachel Jackson.
Nathaniel John.
Madeline Jones.
Aditya Kaushik.
Anna Latier.
Grace Menzie.
Anish Padi.
Isha Pagdal.
Anish Patel.
Lillian Peck.
Amrita Perry.
Chloe Philly-Balvin.
Anusha Purushothaman.
Madison Roberge.
Sumer Sani.
Avi Shah.
Audrey Schwartz.
Roma Toronto.
Chloe Wing.
Andrew Youssef.
Julia Zate. Congratulations to our new inductees, and we welcome Krista Fillion and Winnie Phoebus to the stage for our senior thank yous. Lydia Begag.
Before I get started, I do want to preface that the fact of picking a single teacher to thank was very, very hard. So I do want to briefly recognize the dozens of teachers that I've had during my time at AMSA, and even those that I didn't have. You guys are all what makes this school so wonderful, so thank you. Now, I don't remember a lot of details from freshman year, partly because I try my hardest to block it out of my memory whenever I can. But I do remember the first French class that I ever had. I walked in, ready to forget the little Latin I had retained over the last 3 years, and I was very nervous for what was to come because of the unfamiliar teacher's name that I saw on my schedule. When she walked in, Miss Artiaga lit up that entire room immediately. She was smiling from ear to ear when she introduced herself to us. I had never seen anyone as excited and ready to teach a new group of students as her in that moment. Senior me is just as intrigued by and full of respect for Miss Artiaga as was 9th grade me. Over the years in her classroom, I grew comfortable speaking French in the class and was able to converse more and more in the language with my family at home. You can imagine my excitement the summer before sophomore year when I was able to order food for myself in France using everything she taught me. Even though in hindsight this was a fairly trivial thing to be proud of, Ms. Artiaga shared my excitement and enthusiasm for learning. She was always there for me to help in the classroom when I needed it, but she also pushed me to be the best I could be. Whoops. She saw the natural French speaker in me that most of the time I failed to notice. Even though I didn't have Ms. Artiaga for French after sophomore year, she remained a strong presence in my life over the next 2 years by being my UNICEF club advisor. This year especially, she worked alongside me and the other officers to organize fundraisers and community events I would never have thought I'd be doing a year ago. She encouraged me to dream big, but showed me it's not just about dreaming, it's about doing. She makes me laugh with her various anecdotes and her larger-than-life personality, and she is someone I know that I can always come to for advice, school-related or not. Ms. Artiaga, one of the best parts about my last year of high school was growing very close to you. You are unbelievably smart, gifted, and you have an air of resilience and determination that I admire endlessly. Your love of life, people, culture, philanthropy, and the world taught me to appreciate my days and live them to the fullest. You are truly a blessing of a woman, and I am honored that our paths crossed. Also, you really rock the haircut. I love it. Thanks for doing that for NHS, by the way. Je t'aime, mademoiselle, and thank you for all that you do.
Christina Babinski. First off, thank you to my amazing parents. You raised me to be kind-hearted, ambitious, strong, faithful, and courageous. You taught me to spread my wings and do what brings me happiness. Thank you for helping me up after falling down. Thank you for always, always being there for me. And thank you for giving me firm values and beliefs. Thank you for giving me all the confidence and the courage to chase my dreams. I simply would not be here without you. Shout out to Mr. Skelly. I saw you earlier, I know you're here. I was lucky enough to have you not 1 but 2 years, and both truly helped me grow as both a student and a striving individual. I always had a bit more pep in my step walking to room 806 every day. What really hit me though was the glowing recommendation that you wrote me last fall. As I read it, I couldn't help but cry tears of happiness and pride. You saw in me things I'd never even seen in myself. Thank you for seeing me. Thank you for being there, for opening up to our class, and for seeing us the way only gifted teachers can. Lastly, thank you for the dum-dums. I also want to thank my true and beautiful friends. Thank you for the laughs, the cries, the moments, the memories, the hugs, and all the real love. Thank you for stocking the snack locker, FaceTiming me to cram for all those Spanish quizzes, consistently beating me at Fight List, taking that scalpel and opening up that pig for me when I was too scared, teaching me to ski, facing angry mall cops with me. Thank you for lifting me up, for listening, for giving me shoulders to cry on, and for being there whenever I needed you most. Thank you for bringing out the best in me. Thank you for believing in me. Thank you all for everything so, so much.
Catherine Duras.
All right, for those of you who don't know me, I am a very concise person, so the speech is going to stay the same. All right, so I took a long time to think about this speech, and I just couldn't figure out who I wanted to thank. So many of you influenced me and guided me through high school, whether it was helping me decide what I actually want to do in college or what I really don't want to do in college. I also got a lot of help with the seemingly unimportant things that made a real impact on where I am today, from both teachers, friends, and family. You all taught me valuable lessons that will help me both inside and outside of the classroom. So to those of you who gave me the tools to succeed in the future, thank you.
Samuel Fischette.
All right. First off, I'd like to thank my calculus teacher of 2 years, Mr. Bebeau. Since taking his classes, I've come to really appreciate, respect, and become interested in math. A sentence 2012 me would never imagine I'd be saying at all, let alone before an audience. Aside from helping me appreciate mathematics, Mr. Bebeau occasionally laughs at my jokes. However, he mostly tells me to shut it. And he wrote me a letter of recommendation so good that he claimed I would get into any college I applied to. I didn't, but that was on me. So thank you, Mr. Bebeau. Also, I'd like to thank Ms. Crocker, the administrator of AMSA Drama. For the past few years, she's worked relentlessly for the benefit of my favorite after-school club. Without her, we'd have such a small budget that we could only do royalty-free Shakespeare in the parking lot of a 7-Eleven. She also once made me a jester costume and had really cool bells that would ring when I walked around. I was pretty rad. Ms. Crocker, you're a real G.
Siobhan Gannon.
Hi again. First of all, I would like to thank my incredible family, friends, fellow officers, and advisors for supporting me throughout my high school career. There's no way I could be the person I am today without your encouragement. I'd especially like to thank my amazing parents for the sacrifices they have made for me to succeed. I thank you for teaching me the importance of empathy, wellness, and service. When I say you are the best parents, I hope you know that I'm absolutely serious. Yet through it all, I couldn't have achieved what I have without my incredible little brother. He never left my side and always gave me support. Or at least that's what he told me to say when I asked him what to put in my speech. But seriously, thank you, Trevor, for the incredible memories and support you've provided throughout the years. You never ceased to make me laugh, and I'm sorry for anything mean I said while we were playing Mario Kart. You're an amazing brother. Señorita Arteaga, gracias por su dedicación a nuestra clase de AP Español. You pushed us to reach our full potential while having lots of fun along the way. I don't know what my senior year would have been like without your singing, dancing, and amazing smile. You've taught me so much more than how to speak Spanish. You've showed me how to live with pasión, amor, y felicidad. To make every moment count. To not let boundaries prevent us from success. I will forever be amazed that you shaved your head to raise money for a Relay for Life team. It looks amazing. You are truly an inspiration and mi heroína para siempre. Gracias. Mr. Skelly, not done, sorry guys. I will never forget your iconic Funky Fridays, Mountain Dew, hot dog costume, and crossword puzzles. In the time you taught at AMSA, you never failed to bring joy and humor to the classroom. Your relentless support and dedication have guided me to become the person I am today. You have taught me so many incredible lessons through literature, but what I will remember most is to embrace nature and the simple aspects of life. As I move into college, I will continue to be reminded of the transcendental ideas you have taught me. As Thoreau once said, this world is but a canvas to our imagination, and I thank you for giving me the supplies that I need to create a masterpiece. Thank you.
Lauren Haley.
I would like to thank Mr. J. I had you for AP Bio last year, and I was lucky enough to have you for Anatomy this year. AP Bio was a real struggle, but you made the class fun, and I learned a lot. Thank you for helping me realize my passion for biology, encouraging me to try new things, and dealing with my senioritis this year. When I first met you, I didn't know what to expect. It didn't take me long to realize that you were not just an AP Bio teacher, but a mentor and a friend. I will miss your sarcastic jokes, sassy attitude, and your 5-day shirt rotation. Thank you.
Christopher Hamill.
Hello. So many people have impacted my life over my years at AMSA. I would like to thank one who truly changed who I am. Coach Vital, my track coach, is someone that I have known only outside the classroom, but to me, he has been a teacher of character, spirit, and inspiration. Mr. Vital is a leader. He is an incredible speaker, and regardless of the stress or pressure put onto him, he holds himself in a calm, rational manner. He always has lived up to his commitments to the team and takes hours upon hours out of his time committed to finding out information about our next meet or looking for videos to help our runners improve their form. Through leading, Mr. Vital has given me a lot of wisdom to keep with me for my life. Mr. Vital is a motivator because he is always there to support his athletes and students. I have seen him lead someone to work harder, run faster, and make incredible athletic achievements for their own personal best. Over the 6 years that I have done track, I have seen a vast improvement in the dedication of my teammates and the team itself becoming stronger. Years ago, we never could have dreamed about sending a few athletes to state competitions. Today, we are sending a lot of our team there as strong competitors. Mr. Vital is an inspiration. A mantra that Coach always says is, you're a student athlete, student comes first. Because of the statement that Coach made sure to say every chance he got, I chose to work harder in the classroom so that I could keep competing in the sport that I love. Over time, I came to work hard not because of track, but because of the sense of accomplishment that I felt and the happiness that it gave me to succeed in my goals. Coach, thank you for always giving your personal best.
Catherine Hansen.
First off, I want to thank Ms. Bindaru. Because of you, I have found a career path that I am beyond excited to explore. I first got to know you in APCS sophomore year, and since then, I've taken every class that I could with you. You even convinced me to take an extra math class this year, something I never planned to do. Thank you for all of the encouragement, all of the Friday quizzes that you insisted would help when we got to the AP test, and they did, and the phone calls from abroad to make sure that we were working even when you weren't there. Thank you for writing me a recommendation letter with only an hour's notice. I don't know anybody else who would have done that. Thank you for the long hours you stayed after school to help us build apps that didn't always work. I will never forget all the support that you showed. Next, Mr. Skelly. I don't even know where to begin. I am so thankful for the countless days I was lucky to spend in your classroom in sophomore and junior English. These two classes were among my favorites, not only because I enjoyed the books we read, but because I was grateful to get to learn in such a positive environment. You were always there to listen to me, no matter what I was talking about. I will never forget the day that I came home to an encouraging email from you in my inbox after a bad day. You could tell something was off because you take so much time to get to know each of your students. Your support never faltered even as you moved on from AMSA to explore new opportunities. So thank you both for having a lasting impact on the person I've become. I will never forget everything you've done for me. Thank you.
Jacqueline Helliwell. Okay. I would like to thank Mrs. Richardson. After dropping AP Chem last year and making a last-minute switch to Lane, you assured me that I had made a good decision, and you were definitely right. Lane ended up being one of my favorite classes that I've ever taken at AMSA. With her charming and easygoing nature, I found a place where I could learn and grow both as a writer and a student. I owe much of my success during junior and senior year to you, as you were and are always there to help keep my head level. Throughout the college application process, you were so helpful in keeping me calm and motivating me to get the job done. Thank you for your guidance and friendship. I'm going to miss you when I go to college. Teresa Shea.
I'd like to thank Ms. Bandara and Mr. Bakala for being my favorite teachers at AMSA. First off, Mr. Bakala, thank you for being simultaneously the coolest and nerdiest teacher I know. With your endless hashtags of extra moments and etymology stories, you are somehow even able to make learning the origin of the word "the" interesting. Your class is the class I look forward to every day, the one period I wished was a little longer. So thank you again for filling my days with weird memes, classical themes, and Roman triremes. Ms. Bandara, thank you for being an outstanding role model and incredible mentor. In all the classes I've taken with you and clubs you've mentored for me, you have always been there to support and encourage me to strive for the best. Your advice, whether it's been practical, like read the specs, or more personal, like forget what others think and pursue what you love, your words have made a lasting impact. You never seem to amaze me with your dedication to your students, willingness to stay after school, and commitment to promoting computer science. I really don't know how you do it all. Every lesson you create is one I take to heart. Every hour after school you sacrifice is one I never take for granted. You're in a class of your own, a super class of which I'm lucky to be direct.
Anushree Iyengar.
Okay, sorry. The man I'm here to thank this evening needs no introduction. He is AMSA's single greatest icon. Everyone in this room has been affected by him in some way, whether you had him as a teacher, a coworker, or even if you've only seen him smiling and waving on your drive past the upper school. You know firsthand the incredible enthusiasm for education and love for our community that he brings to AMSA each and every day, rain, snow, or shine. This man, of course, is Dr. Lewis, and I had the privilege of being in his AP US History class last year. As my classmates from last year can attest, APUSH was a bright light in the dark, dismal tunnel that was junior year. Every day, no matter what, we could always count on walking into the room to loud music, a fresh howdy partner, and Dilu's nonstop smile. That class inspired in me not only a love for all things history, but a passion for learning in general, and the knowledge that no matter how many times I fall, I can always pick myself back up. Dilu, thank you for never losing faith and always telling me to kia kaha whenever I needed it. Your class will always be one of my fondest memories of high school as I move on to college and beyond. And just one last note, I know he isn't here because of who he is as a person, but I want to give a quick shout out to Dr. Dre for helping us learn how to learn and for putting up with my constant sarcasm and belligerence towards him. Thank you for always telling me to chase the knowledge.
Starting off, I want to thank a teacher that I've had the pleasure of having both inside and out of school. Miss Bowen, I've known you for many, many years, but it only took 7 years to finally have you as a teacher. I was a little bit slow. And taking GOCO was such a great choice. I managed to pick up so much stuff that's actually important to me, and things I'm going to actually take out of high school, which I mean isn't that much. But I'm gonna miss the 2018 vote by just a month, but I promise I'm gonna make it to the 2020 voting booths. And also, I'd like to give a huge shout out to Dr. Dre, even though we all know he's not here. As you famously told us, chase the knowledge. And letting us create an organic chemistry class really helped further that idea, as everyone in that class got to delve into the topics we were absolutely clueless on, and it really helped us develop our passions in these fields. And I'm really happy to see how I've been able to progress these past 2 years in his AP Chemistry and the Organic Chemistry class. Yes. And then, finally, I'm emotional. Even though he since left AMSA, I want to give such a huge thank you to Mr. Skelly. I missed out on having you 10th grade year. I was one of the very few English classes that didn't have that pleasure, but I'm so grateful that I lucked out and managed to have you my junior year. I think there are a very select number of teachers out there that truly care about and have such a great impact on their students, and I really think that you are one of those few individuals. And even though you may not be at AMSA anymore, you still had such an impact on our school and on our grade and every single student that's had you. And having read my essays and also listening to my speeches, you know that I'm not very good at them and I'm not very good at conclusions. So I'm just going to end by repeating my beginning. Thank you so much.
Rachel Malone.
So I would also like to thank Mr. Skelly for being the most kind-hearted and influential teacher I have ever had. I entered his class with the belief that I was not a good writer, and my strengths were in math and science. But Mr. Skelly encouraged me to think outside the box with my writing assignments and allowed me to find topics that I was interested in. With his help, I was able to realize my own potential and improve far more than I would have with any other teacher. However, it is not his teaching skills that I miss the most. Mr. Skelly was a friend to students as well and genuinely cared about his class. I was pretty shy that year, but he reached out to me and became a friend that I still have today. I also miss him because I know that he would let me hide my dog in his classroom today.
Señorita Arteaga, adios mio, where do I even start? To tell you all that Miss Arteaga is the most caring teacher you'll ever meet is an understatement. Whenever we entered class stressed or overwhelmed, you would put our well-beings as your #1 priority. Whether that meant starting class with a Spanish song or 5, or a round or 2 of Zumba, you did whatever was necessary for us to forget about the stressful world around us and truly enjoy delving into Spanish culture and language. And if that doesn't show you all Miss Arteaga's genuine, caring nature, she volunteered to shave her head if the school raised $3,000 for AMSA NHS's Relay for Life team to support cancer research. If it wasn't for her, the school wouldn't have made nearly as much money from the Shape of the Brave event. And if I'm gonna be completely honest, she pulls off her new hairdo better than anyone I know. You've constantly encouraged me throughout the year whenever I felt that I wasn't as good at Spanish as my peers, and you built so much confidence in me as a Spanish speaker, but more importantly as a person. I could go on and on about how much you've influenced my experience at AMSA and how blessed I am to have a teacher like you, but I'm just gonna leave it at gracias por todo.
Cassie Peloso.
I don't say thank you enough to those who taught me how and why I should be thankful. To those that taught me numbers don't define me. That my voice should be bold and that I should be confident. That college is more about opportunity above all else, and that life is too short to be lived sparingly. To be lived unhappily. To be settled for. Life is too short. So while I stand here today expressing some of the infinite reasons that I have to be thankful, there are only two people I can truly be thankful for. They encourage me to craft my future and to design far and wide. My parents have given me and never ceased to give me unimaginable opportunities. For all of their patience, love, and support in my growth, as a person, I cannot thank them enough. I wouldn't be who I am today without the experiences they've willingly given me, even if I'm not 100% grateful of them all the time. So thank you, Mom and Dad. Thank you.
Trinity Radcliffe.
I would like to thank Dr. Lewis for making AP US History the most fun class I've ever taken. I remember walking out of A-Push with a smile on my face because you would always be standing at the door, fist bumping us, saying kia kaha, even though I probably failed that test we were taking in class. I adopted the kia kaha philosophy in not just A-Push, but also other classes I found challenging, like AP Chem. I remember on the day of the A-Push exam, you arrived with a box of donuts and your kia kaha spirit. Having such a positive force on the day of the exam definitely made a depressing day more tolerable. You made me actually enjoy US history, and I know for a fact that without you as my teacher, my high school career would have been pretty boring. So thank you, Dilu, for your encouraging spirit and kia kaha. I would also like to thank Magister Bakla, there you are, for putting up with our AP Latin class. I have learned a lot about Latin from you. It's almost like you're my Latin teacher or something, but I've grown to enjoy Julius Caesar's narcissistic accounts of history as he starts each paragraph with his own name, and also Virgil's version of the Odyssey, also known as the Aeneid. In AP Latin, and even honors Latin last year, I really enjoyed taking tests without knowing 90% of the vocab, so thanks. Latin is one of my favorite classes this year. Actually, it is my favorite class this year, and that's only possible because of you, and our class, of course. I hope you find that the Latin for Dummies book we got you useful. It will definitely help you in the future, and even now. Anyways, thank you, Magister Bakla, for finally being almost qualified in the end. Wale, graviter commotus magister. Also, quick shout out to the one and only Dr. Jure, PhD. We all know that he could not make it today. I don't know why, but thank you for telling me to chase the knowledge and not the college.
Julia Sloan.
I would like to thank Mr. Skelly. I first had Mr. Skelly as a teacher in sophomore year ELA. I've never particularly enjoyed English class, but he managed to make it fun and interesting, even for a STEM nerd like myself. Over the year, we bonded over our overlapping musical interests, sharing new songs and artists with each other. And now that Mr. Skelly has left AMSA, I no longer get to drop by his classroom and obtain new song recommendations daily, but we still manage to stay in touch via Facebook. I know that in Mr. Scully, I found not only a great teacher, but also a lifelong friend and mentor. I would also like to thank Dr. Dure, who is not here today. I took AP Chemistry with him last year, which was, to say the least, quite an experience. I never thought I would say this, but despite how difficult he made my life during junior year, I'm honestly thankful for Dr. Dure's presence in my life. He's always worked hard to improve the school's science department, developing research programs beyond the high school level and helping students create new classes. Because of Dr. Dure and his class, I've learned a plethora of life lessons and will always strive to chase the knowledge. Thank you.
Hi everyone. I want to start by thanking all the teachers that I've had at AMSA. The ones that I had as teachers and the ones who let me come into their classrooms and bother them for no reason at all. All the teachers at AMSA and previously have molded me into the person I am today, but I need to thank one person in particular for the person I have become. When I was 8, I joined a program called Destination Imagination, which is a program for creative problem solving and teamwork. DI taught me to be outgoing, creative, and gave me most of my personality. Without DI, I doubt I would be anything like the person I am now, and I want to thank the person who made it all possible. Mrs. Rupali Sharma, thank you so much for showing me all the things that I could be through DI and giving me the chance to coach a team to globals. You guided me not just in DI, but in life. I can't express how grateful I am to you and everything you've given me. Thank you.
Samuel Wonks.
I would like to thank Mr. Vital, who has been my coach for cross country and track and field for as long as I've been at AMSA, 7 years. Now the number of life lessons and skills I've learned from him is immeasurable, but there's 3 that I want to focus on: honesty, respect, and determination. Now the first thing I learned from Coach Vital was honesty. Not just being honest with others, but with myself too. A lot of times during practices, he'd give us the freedom to choose how fast we run or how many hills we would climb, or could climb, and making that choice forces you to ignore the excuses and the lies you tell yourself when you're exhausted. It's always so easy to make yourself believe that you really can't finish a run or that you're just having a bad day, but it takes a lot of strength to admit what you can really accomplish. The next one is respect, and this one took me a while to get. It's something you're taught pretty young to show towards others, but not necessarily to think about them. On all of his teams, Coach Vital creates this environment where everyone's trying to be the best they can, trying to beat each other, but there's still always this common understanding and high regard we have for each other. It's difficult to maintain that kind of relationship when everyone is so competitively oriented, but Coach does an amazing job of keeping the team together. Last is determination, the most important lesson I've learned from Coach. The continued willingness to get back up after being beaten is something that I was only able to learn because of Coach's incredible ability to navigate the fine line between being too tough and too soft as a mentor. Now, Coach didn't make me a better runner. He made me a better person, and that better person made themselves a better runner. It's these lessons that I'll keep with me long after I'm no longer running. So thank you, Coach.
So congratulations to our seniors. And we'd like to now invite Dr. Lewis, Executive Director, to the podium for closing remarks.
Ms. Johnson and Mr. Prue are not only fantastic teachers, but they did a lot of work organizing today's event and keeping track of all the NHS members and going through the membership process and communicating with parents. So it's very much appreciated. A big hearty congratulations to the seniors. I haven't I have not had the pleasure to teach all of you, although I've taught many of you. And to those that I've taught, to those that I haven't taught, certainly has been an amazing, wonderful joy to teach you. It's just a great pleasure to teach what one loves to kids filled with such passion and desire to learn, so thank you. Also, a big hearty congratulations to all the new NHS inductees. Your induction today reflects hours and hours of hard work and commitment and dedication. And congratulations for your dedication to the principles of the National Honor Society: scholarship, leadership, service, and character. Each of these traits are of great value to our school. They're reflective of the values that we wish to create at AMSA, and they will help you tremendously as you go off to a life filled with challenges and challenges that may surprise you. So today I was thinking about what I would talk about, and of course I have to fall back to history, so I decided to give another really short history lesson, the last one. And I was thinking of a person who I would talk about, someone who has inspired me, and I decided that the person I would talk about today is known, his nickname, this will be a little quiz for you guys, he's known as the greatest. Who is the greatest?
It's definitely not Tom Brady. He was a boxer. Excellent. Yes, it was Muhammad Ali. So who was this man, Muhammad Ali? Muhammad Ali was born in Louisville, Kentucky, January 17th, 1942. His original name, anybody know his original name? You guys are good. Cassius Clay. He was famous for many, many things. In 1960, Muhammad Ali won the Olympic gold medal. Muhammad Ali was a three-time heavyweight defending champion. He was known for his epic fights. This was a day when boxing was in. It's not so much in anymore. He was known for his fight against the heavyweight champion Sonny Liston in 1964 and 1965. The Rumble in the Jungle in Zaire against George Foreman in 1974. The Thrilla in Manila in the Philippines against Joe Frazier in 1975. He was known famously for his conversion to Islam and for changing his name from Cassius Clay to Muhammad Ali. He was famous for lighting the torch at the 1996 Olympic Games in Atlanta. He was also famous for his decades-long bout against Parkinson's disease, which many folks believe was induced by the trauma that he suffered as a result of all of his years in boxing. He was famous in 2005 for receiving the Medal of Freedom granted to him in the White House by the then President George W. Bush. So very, very famous man, perhaps the most famous sports figure in all of history. Despite all of that, I sat there last week and I said, well, this is National Honor Society. Is Ali an appropriate choice to be a boxer, to talk about, and to remember at the National Honor Society? He was not a scholar. He was not a scientist. He was not a mathematician. And he did really poorly academically. In his high school class, he finished, out of 391 students, he finished 371. So not too good academically. But I really believe that he does, in fact, embody all of the pillars of the National Honor Society: leadership, service, character, and scholarship. He was the greatest, and he was great for three big reasons. First, I would say that he actually was a scholar, though not in the traditional sense. He was a scholar of his opponents. He studied their fights. He knew their weaknesses. He also knew, very importantly, that kia kaha mattered, that one had to work really, really hard despite what one's talents were. In 1964, in his big match against Sonny Liston for the heavyweight championship, nobody gave Muhammad Ali any chance of winning the fight. Sonny Liston was an enormous man. You can actually watch the fight on YouTube if you're
interested, you can see the fight. Sonny Liston was an enormous man. He was barrel-chested. He had the fist the size of a sledgehammer and the power of a tow truck. Incredibly strong, absolute incredible boxer, and nobody gave Ali any chance. But Ali studied Sonny Liston. He studied his tapes. He knew how he fought. And he knew that Liston's great strength was his great weakness. He knew that he was a tank, and he knew that he lumbered and moved very slowly. So Ali said, if that is the case, I'm going to move very quickly. So Muhammad Ali had a famous saying that he would float like a butterfly and sting like a bee. You guys are really good. A+. Sonny Liston also, Ali knew that to beat Liston he would have to train and to work and to kia kaha. And that is what he did. He would wake up well before the sun came up. He would put on these military boots and he would run for miles and miles and miles. And then after he ran for miles and miles and miles, he would go into the gym and he'd have one practice bout after another practice bout after another practice bout. He trained and he trained and he trained and he beat Sonny Liston. And he knew, Ali knew, he was incredibly gifted, incredibly talented, but he knew that that wouldn't mean anything unless he worked hard. A second reason Ali was great was for his unique character. Muhammad Ali grew up in a deeply racist society. He came of age in the Jim Crow South. His ancestors were slaves. When Ali went to movies in Louisville, Kentucky, as a boy, he sat in segregated seats way in the back. When he went to school, he didn't go to AMSA. He went to the worst school with the poorest paid teachers and the most decrepit buildings. His mom, Odessa, was a maid who cleaned the houses of white people. And once, after a long, hard day of work, Odessa was denied a drink of water at a luncheonette because of the color of her skin. Ali's father, Cassius, was a very talented and terrific artist, but because of the color of his skin, he was only able to paint billboards and road signs. When Muhammad Ali was a young boy, his father showed him pictures of the mutilated body of Emmett Till, who was a 14-year-old boy who was mutilated in Mississippi, allegedly for looking at a white woman. Even after winning the Olympics in 1960, Ali confronted racism. He said, "In my own life, there were places I couldn't go, places I couldn't eat. I won a gold medal representing the United States at the Olympic Games, and when I came home, there were some restaurants I couldn't get served in. Some people kept calling me boy." Ali was a man of character. He refused to accept this treatment. He said, "I don't have to be what you want me to be." He was a man of character, a man who refused to back down in the face of injustice. He was known for his boastfulness and his confidence and his claims to be the greatest. And what he meant by that was to say that to his fellow Americans that he and his generation would no longer accept the racism that they confronted. "I am America," Ali once said. "I'm the part you will not recognize, but get used to me. Black, confident, cocky, my name, not yours. My religion, not yours. My goal, my own. Get used to me." A third reason Ali was great was because of his service and his leadership, the other two important pillars of the NHS. Ali knew, eventually, he knew that there were things far more important than him and things far more important than the money that he made and the heavyweight crown that he wore, the heavyweight belt that he had around him. He certainly desired wealth, he desired fame, there is no doubt about that. But eventually he learned that there were things more important than that. The finest example of this was in 1967, at the very height of his athletic ability, at the very height of his money-making ability, Ali resisted the draft to the Vietnam War. As a result of his resistance to the draft for the Vietnam War, his heavyweight title was stripped from him and he was convicted for draft evasion. It would be 3 long years before Muhammad Ali would ever be allowed to fight again. He said, "My conscience won't let me go shoot my brother or some darker people or some poor hungry people in the mud. And he also said they never lynched me. They never put no dogs on me. They didn't rob me of my nationality. Shoot them for what? How can I shoot them, poor people? Just take me to jail. Ali's principled stance against the Vietnam War cost him a tremendous amount of money. It cost him the heavyweight title. And as a result of it, he faced an incredible storm of criticism from all across the country. Some writers said he was the most disgusting character in memory to appear on the sports scene. The governor of Maine said that Muhammad Ali should be held in utter contempt by every patriotic American. A TV commentator named David Susskind said, "I find nothing amusing or interesting or tolerable about this man. He's a disgrace to his country, his race, and what he laughingly describes as his profession." In this, the fight of Muhammad Ali's fight, the fight of his life, more so than Foreman or Frazier or Liston, Ali did not back down. He showed truly what leadership and service is all about. It is all about doing what is right, even though what is right may be costly to oneself and to one's popularity. After he retired from boxing, Muhammad Ali continued to devote himself to something greater than him, something larger than himself. He became an advocate for peace. He broke from his strict interpretation of Islam to a view of Islam that accepted all people and that fundamentally focused on peace. He raised money for the study of Parkinson's disease. In 1990, he met with the Iraqi dictator Saddam Hussein to secure the release of American hostages. He raised money and supported Special Olympics. He raised money and supported the Make-A-Wish Foundation. President Obama in 2010 said that this is the Muhammad Ali who inspires us today. The man who believes real success comes when we rise after we fall, who has shown us that through undying faith and steadfast love, each of us can make this world a better place. He is and always will be the champ. Like Ali, each of you, seniors, new inductees, each of you as members of the National Honor Society can help push our school and our country to a brighter place. We need you. We need young men and women like you who follow in the footsteps of great leaders like Muhammad Ali. We need young men and women like yourselves, men and women devoted to scholarship, men and women willing to lead by example, men and women of character, men and women devoted to a life of helping others. Thank you all very much, and congratulations to all of you guys and to your families. Have a great night. I think there are cookies and... No, there are no cookies. But there's lots of good cheer to be had, and smiles and handshakes and picture taking right out there. Thanks, everyone.